another video. Today we got the most painful gym deaths ever. I don't even know what to expect, but I already knew from the jump that somebody would drop a barbell on them. I already knew that was gonna be one. So let's get straight into it, man. Enough with the talking.
Barbell incident. It was the early hours of
Damn,
a Tuesday morning
shit
in
skipping.
St.
The
Charles,
fuck?
Missouri. The gym was entirely silent, and it was the kind of silent that only came when the world
Yeah.
outside was asleep.
Yeah, that's chipping.
At around
Shit.
2:50 a.m., a young 23-year-old woman would be the only one in the gym finishing what should have been just another workout. She was a paramedic, the kind of person used to helping people, saving lives, and bringing the injured to safety. The woman would step into a Smith machine and rack weight onto its barbell, and then she began squatting it. The only issue was that the weight was too much for her. In the middle of her set, she began struggling. She tried hard to re-rack the weight, but no matter how hard she pushed, the bar wouldn't go up. Then, in an instant, her legs gave out. She lost balance and the heavy bar dropped with no spotter to catch it. The machine pinned her down, trapping her beneath the crushing weight. And unfortunately, since she was the only one in the gym, nobody was around to hear or see her struggle.
What?
The heavy bar dropped with no spotter to catch it. The machine pinned her down, trapping her beneath the crushing weight. And unfortunately, since she was the only one in the gym, nobody was around to hear or see her struggle. For nearly half an hour, she laid pinned and crushed under the pressure of the weight before another gym member finally walked in and found her. But by then, it was already too late. The member tried to help and called 911, but by the time paramedics arrived, they couldn't do anything for her. Her co-workers at the Christian hospital remembered her as vibrant, full of energy, and always lighting up the room with her smile.
Man, see, that's why you don't. That's why anytime you lifting, bro, and you lifting by yourself, lift light, lift light, lift light, and get as many reps done as you can. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do. I lift light and I get as many reps done as I can. You know what I'm saying? But if I know I'm not gonna lift nothing that I know I need a squatter for or somebody to spot me. I know I'm not gonna do that. That's just me personally because I just feel like at that point I'm asking for a fuck up. You feel me? So yeah, that's crazy. And the machine fell on top of that. Which is
That
wild.
promise, that brightness, was extinguished in a freak accident that lasted only seconds. Even in a place meant for health and strength, danger can hide in plain sight. If you're lifting heavy weights, always remember to bring a partner. There's been a number of times where I've gotten trapped underneath weight without a spotter, but I was fortunate enough to have friendly passerbys help me out. So even if you don't have a partner to work out with, try to work out when the gym is active and has other people in it. May this woman's soul rest in peace. The leg press incident. 8 years ago, in Vadodara, India, a middle-aged man walked inside of a gym for what should have been a normal workout. He moved from one exercise to another until he finally settled in front of the leg press machine, a piece of equipment built to test and improve raw lower body strength. The man began racking weight onto the machine until it was fully loaded with plates stacked heavy on both sides. Ahmad climbed in, positioned his
I could just imagine like let me let the clip play.
back against the pad and began pressing. At first, everything seemed fine. Surprisingly, as his legs pushed the machine, the estimated 1,000 to 1,400 pounds he was leg pressing actually moved. But then came the moment of truth, re-racking the load. He tried to lock the machine and began struggling. In an instant, his legs buckled. The massive weight came crashing down, snapping his left leg backwards.
That's oh boy, all that weight coming down. Chat. Fortunately for me, I've got on a leg press machine before, but I've never got on a leg press. I want to say fortunate because I don't put an ass of weight on or whatever like that. But I've got on a leg press machine before, but I haven't got on one of these to the point like I haven't got on one of these yet. You feel me? And I've always been terrified of this set of weights, particularly because I don't know if they're updated now, where like if I'm like say like something like that does happen, where the person can like rack the weights, if the machine, has a point where it's just like, okay, well, they can catch it, the machine can catch it. You know what I'm saying? Um, I think machines should have that if they already don't. I'm not a gym expert, so don't get in these comments like, "Oh my God, you don't know nothing about the gym." I'm not a gym expert, bro. It's just I'm just asking a question. You feel me? That's what I got YouTube comments for. You feel me? So if they do, just like
The sickening crack, the gym floor filled with screams as people rushed toward the mangled machine, the horror of the injury plain for everyone to see. But, by some miracle, the man survived. Nonetheless, the leg press still had done its damage. It had left him with a horrible, gruesome injury, and a lesson that would haunt him forever. Don't ego lift. It's not worth your legs. The shake incident. It was the
Oh, so
end
he
of
didn't
New
die.
Year's Eve in Wales. An aspiring musician and fitness enthusiast had completed his day and decided to finish the night off by preparing a protein shake to drink. As you could guess, this was something he had done countless times before, but this time he would try something new, because after all, it was New Year's. His friend recommended that he add a specific powder into his shake, and excited to test it out, the man put a teaspoon of the powder into his drink, blended it, and began drinking it. And then, nothing happened. The drink was just a little bitter, and so he sent a text message to his friend complaining about its taste, but other than that, he was fine. Then the man went to sleep to end his night. Unfortunately, he wouldn't live to see the next morning. You see, the powder the man put in his protein shake was just caffeine. But it wasn't the regulated kind that you'd find in your Starbucks coffee. It was pure, raw caffeine. He only put just a teaspoon of it into his drink, which doesn't necessarily sound that bad. That is, until you realize that one of those teaspoons was equivalent to 70 cans of Red Bull, and he just gulped it down.
70. What? Nobody mentioned to tell him what he was putting in his drink. And he just went to sleep. That's crazy. He just went to sleep and just didn't wake up. That's crazy.
In one sitting, the man shot up awake in a cold sweat. Almost immediately, his body began revolting. His heart was pounding violently, his vision became blurry, and his chest began constricting as if an anaconda was wrapped around him. He raced to the bathroom and began vomiting. His system had been overloaded with a stimulant so powerful that there was essentially nothing that could be done to stop it. Within seconds, he collapsed to the ground, hitting his head on the floor and going into cardiac arrest. Later on in the morning, his parents would find him cold on the floor and fall into a panic. They called 911 and paramedics rushed to his home, but there was nothing they could do. The cause of the tragedy was later revealed to be the simplicity of one mistake. The scoop he used to measure the caffeine powder was actually meant for protein, not for a fine, potent stimulant. This incident sparked up a huge controversy over the ethics of making something this
So wow.
dangerous as accessible as it was. Many argued that powders like these shouldn't be sold on shelves if such a tiny mistake could come with such a costly consequence. The death grip incident. The death grip is a risky form of holding a barbell. When you pick up the weight for bench press, instead of wrapping your thumb around the bar and securing it in place, some gym goers remove their thumbs and place them to the side. People say that this way of bench pressing helps them focus on pushing the weight more. Others claim that it makes their triceps activate. Nonetheless, it's a stylistic way of benching that is extremely dangerous. And on a Monday, at a gym in Ankeny, Iowa, a 22-year-old student at Iowa State University would find this out the hard way. The weights clanged, the music thumped, and lifters pushed themselves through the grind. For this young man, the bench press was just another part of his normal routine. It was something that he had done countless times before. That day, he made sure to fully load the bar to 315 pounds in an attempt to beat his PR max. With the plates 3 on each side, this was the kind of weight that demands respect. The man laid back and gripped the bar, but in order to really focus on doing his absolute best in this bench press, he switched his normal grip to a death grip, then unracked it. He took a deep breath, and for a moment, everything seemed normal. But before he could even attempt to bench the weight, in an instant, his grip gave way. The barbell slipped from his hands. The full 315 pounds came crashing down across his jaw, neck, and chest with unstoppable force. The sound echoed through the gym as lifters rushed toward him. Massive internal injuries were already done. His spotter and bystanders fought to pull the bar off, but the damage was irreversible. The man was rushed to the hospital, but despite everything doctors tried, he passed away from his injuries. His coach later said, "He was lifting weights, something I did with him 1,000 times." But that's the cruel truth of the bench press. It doesn't take recklessness, only a second of misfortune. I hit the gym frequently, and I won't lie, I usually find myself using a death grip whenever I'm doing bench press. But the truth is, no lift is worth your life. Always use a safe grip, have a spotter, and never gamble with 300 pounds of steel. The gym should build you up, not bury you. May this man's soul rest in peace. The dumbbell incident. It was a late evening inside a small gym in Medapalli, Telangana. The clients had finished their training, the weights were racked, and the silence was broken only by the clink of iron as a 34-year-old trainer and owner cleaned up his facility. But then, out of nowhere, the calm was shattered. 3 men walked into the facility, and for some odd reason, an argument broke about between the two parties. As the feud reached a boiling point, without warning, one of the men grabbed a heavy dumbbell and drove it into his face, instantly obliterating the man's head. The men began smashing the trainer's body with dumbbells, striking his chest again and again, with each blow being more devastating than the last. The trainer's body was left mangled on the ground, and the place that he had once built to help people improve their body.
Whoa. I'm thinking they just gonna drop some weights. These motherfuckers then came and committed murder.
Bodies and strength now became his final battleground. The assailants fled immediately after, but luckily they were caught by the gym's security camera as they disappeared into the night. The man was rushed to a nearby hospital, but the injuries were too severe. Doctors fought to save him, but he succumbed during treatment. Investigators believe the motive may have been personal, a suspected love affair, or twisted grudge. Something definitely not worth a human life. The tanning incident. On a quiet Friday evening, a 39-year-old...
Okay, I've seen something like this in 1,000 Ways to Die. And I've seen something like this in another movie. I'm glad I got my melanin. Because I'll be damned if I tan.
Old Indianapolis man walked into a Planet Fitness on Hardigan Street. He checked in, went about his routine, and got ready to leave after finishing everything he needed to finish. But before he left, he decided to make a quick stop in the gym's tanning bed to give his skin a nice finish. It was quick. The man hopped into the tanning bed and was blasted by tanning lights for 10 minutes, left the gym, went back home, and slept happily ever after. Except that's not what happened. You see, the man's car was left parked in the gym's lot. It never left. And his family became extremely worried when he didn't return home for a day. One day turned into 3 days, and before you knew it, the truth finally came out. The man struggled with an addiction that I can't mention on YouTube. It's speculated that the man had consumed some of the substance before slipping into the tanning bed. And while the machine tanned his skin, he quickly realized that he had consumed too much of the illegal substance. He began convulsing while trying to escape the tanning bed, but it would be to no avail. For 3 whole days, the man would remain stuck inside with his body trapping the energy from the device's UV lights, causing him to become disfigured. Finally, a staff member of the Planet Fitness discovered his body locked inside of the tanning bed. He had been there since Friday, alone, silent, and hidden in plain sight. Authorities were immediately called when they found him, and by the time police and investigators pieced it together, questions were everywhere. Why did it take so long?
Wait, what was he on? What substance was he on?
For someone to find him. Why did no alarms go off? And was it really just the substance he consumed that caused him to become stuck in the tanning bed? His mother later confirmed he had been struggling with an addiction, but she still remembered him as the kindest person with the softest heart. The gym is where you shape yourself into the best version of...
What substance was he on? And why doesn't the tanning bed prop open itself after your timer?
...who you can be. It's a place that builds not only strength, but also health and happiness. But none of that matters without safety. Safety always comes first. Train with a spotter when you can. Pay attention to your muscles and joints if they warn you to slow down, and never load more weight than you're truly ready to handle. With that being said, have a happy day.
Yeah, man, that's the end of this video, man. These things be crazy. Every time I view these things, they always be crazy, bro. But he always drops some great videos. So let me know if y'all want me to check out some more of his videos, man. If you stay to the end, man, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video.